Neighbors are now weighing in on a proposal to redevelop an area of downtown Madison. The plan would redevelop properties along South Blair Street and East Wilson Street. NBC 15's Tyler Peters listened in on a meeting between developers and neighbors tonight. So Tyler, take us through what was discussed.
Yeah, Maria, this is now the fourth proposal to redevelop this area of Madison since 2000. This plan would replace the Essen Haus and come back in restaurants. The Essen Haus having been around for the last 35 years.
Neighbors have been through, and the owner of the property, who's also on the call, have been through this redevelopment thing a few times.
Wednesday's proposal marking the first attempt. JCap Real Estate laid out its proposed redevelopment plan for properties along South Blair Street and East Wilson Street.
It started with learning from the past, learning from what the prior applications had submitted, and working to try to address some of the shortcomings that derailed previous proposals.
The plan includes building an 8-story residential building and a 6-story hotel. The residential building would offer 150 units. A portion of those units would be offered as affordable housing for those who make at least 60% of the area median income. Meanwhile, the hotel is designed to have around 100 rooms. The two buildings would replace the Essen Haus and come back in restaurants, but keep the Ruby Marie Hotel. The proposal received mixed opinions from residents who participated in tonight's meeting.
I'm in favor of the Blair Street development. That to me looks very nice. That the hotel part of this plan just really sucks. I'm sorry, but that's the way I see it as a lifelong city of Madison resident, and I've heard from many other people who feel pretty much the same way.
And now the proposal still has several steps to go through before it may be approved. I reached out to the Essen Haus people today. They declined to go on camera, and they say they have no comment on the matter. In studio, Tyler Peters, NBC 15 News.